Ravencrest Dam stood alone in the frozen mountains of Alaska. The massive concrete structure powered nearby military facilities. But the workers feared it for another reason. Every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., something beneath the reservoir hit the walls of the dam. Boom, boom, boom. Nobody knew what caused it. New structural engineer Ethan Cole arrived during a violent thunderstorm. The moment he stepped onto the platform, he noticed something strange about the reservoir behind the dam. The water was completely black. Not dark blue, not gray. Pure black. It reflected absolutely nothing. The security chief, Marcus Vale, immediately warned him, "Never go below level 6 after midnight." Ethan assumed the workers were paranoid from isolation until he saw the security footage himself. One monitor showed a flooded maintenance tunnel where workers ran through waist-deep water. Suddenly, a giant pale hand reached from the darkness and dragged a man underwater. The footage ended instantly. That night, Ethan heard whispering outside his room. At first, he thought it was workers talking in the hallway. But when he opened the door, nobody was there. Only wet footprints stretched across the floor toward the elevator leading downward. The lights flickered constantly. Then the dam shook harder than ever before. Emergency sirens screamed through the hallways while workers rushed toward the upper levels. Then the power failed. Only red emergency lights remained. Boom. Another impact hit the structure. Concrete cracked above Ethan's head. Marcus grabbed his weapon. "It's trying to get inside." The lower floodgates suddenly exploded open. Black water rushed through the corridors like a living thing. And inside the floodwater, people moved. Dozens of pale human figures walked slowly through the rushing water with glowing white eyes. Missing workers, a very single one of them. Their mouths hung unnaturally open as dark water poured endlessly from inside their bodies. One woman stepped closer to Ethan. Her face was swollen and gray. "You should have left," she whispered. Then her jaw split open far wider than humanly possible. Marcus opened fire while dragging Ethan toward the emergency elevator. The entire dam trembled violently. Huge cracks spread across the concrete walls as freezing black water flooded every corridor. Then something enormous rose behind the dead workers in the reservoir. A gigantic face appeared beneath the black water outside the dam, watching, smiling. Its glowing white eyes were larger than windows. The entire structure began collapsing. Ethan and Marcus escaped through an emergency helicopter moments before Ravencrest Dam disappeared beneath the flood. But years later, satellite images still show something moving beneath the black reservoir where the dam once stood. Fishermen in nearby regions sometimes report hearing knocking sounds beneath their boats at exactly 2:17 a.m. Blackstone Dam was abandoned before construction finished. Official reports blamed earthquakes and dangerous working conditions. The real reason was hidden beneath the mountain. Documentary filmmaker Maya Torres traveled there after receiving an anonymous photo showing glowing eyes deep inside the unfinished tunnels. She arrived with 2 cameramen during heavy fog. The dam looked dead. Rust covered the unfinished walls while broken cranes hung silently above the canyon. Near the western side, Maya discovered a maintenance entrance slightly open. Fresh footprints led inside. The tunnels beneath Blackstone Dam stretched deep underground. Strange claw marks covered the concrete walls. Old helmets and broken equipment still remained exactly where workers had abandoned them decades earlier. Eventually, the man-made tunnels ended completely. Smooth black stone replaced the concrete. The deeper they descended, the stranger the mountain became. Their flashlights barely illuminated the endless tunnels ahead. Then they discovered it, an enormous underground city hidden beneath the dam. Gigantic towers stretched into darkness, while glowing symbols covered every wall. The place looked ancient beyond imagination. And something huge moved below the city. A massive creature slithered through the shadows beneath the bridges, its skin covered in glowing eyes. Maya's cameraman whispered, "We need to leave." Then voices echoed through the chamber, human voices begging for help. Pale figures slowly emerged from the darkness. Workers. Construction workers missing since the 1980s. Their bodies had fused with black stone growing from their skin. One stepped closer. Its old construction helmet still remained attached to its head. "Please," it whispered, "don't let the mountain wake up." Suddenly, the creature below stopped moving. All the glowing eyes across its body opened at once, and every single eye turned toward Maya. The underground city began vibrating violently. Large cracks spread across the stone bridges, while deep rumbling sounds echoed beneath them. Then thousands of whispers filled the air together. "It knows you are here." The giant creature started rising toward them. Its massive body unfolded endlessly from the darkness below, revealing rows of human-like arms stretching from its sides. Maya and her crew ran back through the tunnels, while screams echoed behind them. One cameraman disappeared after something grabbed him in the darkness. The remaining cameraman kept filming while they escaped, but the footage later showed strange shadow figures following closely behind them the entire time. Only Maya escaped the mountain. When rescue teams later investigated Blackstone Dam, the entrance tunnel had completely vanished, as if the mountain itself had sealed it shut again. Months later, Maya received another anonymous photograph. It showed her standing inside the underground city, but the photo had been taken from behind her. Helios Dam in Nevada was built over a deep underground reservoir. Most people believed it generated electricity. Very few knew the truth. The dam existed to seal something beneath the earth. Dr. Adrian Mercer worked there for 6 years before discovering Floodgate 9, a gigantic steel barrier located 7 miles underground. Pressure sensors constantly detected movement behind it. Something alive pushed against the gate every night. Then one day, military officials ordered. The gate opened. Nobody explained why. Adrian descended underground with armed soldiers and engineers. The deeper they traveled, the hotter the tunnels became. Water constantly dripped from the ceiling, despite the extreme underground heat. Finally, they reached Floodgate 9. The massive steel barrier was bent inward from enormous pressure behind it, and from the darkness beyond came the sound of breathing. Not human breathing, something far larger. Colonel Hayes ordered the opening sequence. Huge gears rotated. The gate slowly opened. Black water exploded through the chamber instantly, killing several soldiers. Then the creatures emerged. Shadow-like humanoids crawled from the flooded darkness with glowing white eyes and twisted bodies. Bullets passed straight through them. The soldiers panicked. One creature grabbed a man and pulled him underwater. Seconds later, his body burst apart from inside. Emergency alarms screamed throughout the underground facility. Red warning lights flashed violently across the chamber, while floodwaters continued rising. Adrian tried reaching the elevator controls, but the system had already failed. Then everything became silent. The water stopped moving. A gigantic shape slowly rose behind the gate. The creature was enormous beyond imagination. Endless white eyes covered its face, while skeletal arms dragged its massive body upward from the abyss. Its skin looked like moving darkness. The entire dam shook when it spoke. "You should not have opened the gate." Several soldiers immediately dropped their weapons, covering their ears as blood poured from them. The creature's voice felt powerful enough to tear apart the human mind itself. Lights exploded throughout the chamber. Emergency alarms screamed. Floodgate 9 fully opened. Behind the creature stretched an endless underground ocean filled with thousands of glowing shapes moving beneath the water. More creatures waiting. Colonel Hayes stared upward in horror. "What are you?" The giant entity slowly smiled. "We're here before your world existed." Then the dam began collapsing. Concrete walls cracked apart, while black water consumed the lower sectors. Adrian barely escaped through an emergency tunnel before the underground facility disappeared forever. Official reports later claimed Helios Dam suffered a catastrophic earthquake, but nearby towns still experience strange black floods during heavy rainstorms. And survivors claim they sometimes see glowing white eyes watching from beneath the water at night.